All right, here's my hot take for the day. Having debt does not make you irresponsible. It makes you human. Because let me tell you, we've all been in debt at one point in our lives. And if you haven't, so happy for you, but that is not us, okay? You're not a failure because you have debt. You're not lazy. You're not stupid. You're not doomed. You're just someone who's been surviving. And now you're trying to do better. And there's no need to feel shame in that because, listen, like I said, we've all been there. And there's no point in feeling down about yourself when you're trying. And I think there's a difference between you're being really irresponsible, you're in a lot of debt, and you're not trying. There's a difference between, okay, now I'm going to try to get myself out of this debt versus I'm going to keep digging myself into the same hole and never continue and just live like that. There's a big difference, okay? We're not talking about that. We're talking about, okay, we got in debt and now we're trying to get ourselves out of it and stay out of debt. I think budgeting isn't a punishment for past mistakes. It's a plan for your future and to do better for yourself and for your future. And honestly, the biggest thing is your worth is not tied to your credit score at all. If you needed this as a reminder, you are not alone. And let's normalize healing our money habits and not hating ourselves for them because there's nothing we can do about what we did in the past. All we can look forward to is what we can do in the future. Good luck. You're doing amazing.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
We are trying to pay off $83,000 worth of debt in the year of 2025, and I have paid off almost $14,000 of it so far. It's now May, so let's go over how I'm going to spend my income for the month of May. All of my different income sources combined, my budget for the month of May will be $7,426. I've been using the Dave Ramsey Every Dollar app to track every single purchase and every single thing that I need to spend money on throughout the month, so I'm going to insert a screenshot of it here. First up, we have my housing expenses, and this is one of my biggest categories every single month. My mortgage is $1,680. Taxes are $205. I'm not sure how much electric will be, so I'm just going to put in $25, but usually it's less than that because I have solar panels on my house. My water, sewer, trash bill is paid every 2 months, and I put about $100 aside for that, and then my internet is always $65 a month. Insurance bill is $135.50, and it actually just went up $10, so I think that I need to shop around and find a different rate because that just seems so expensive to me. I pay $50 every single month for my HOA, and then for pest control I pay about $30 every month. My gas bill is $47.19. My next biggest category is daycare, and I pay $1,825 a month for that. I actually just paid my last big daycare bill before my son goes to kindergarten. So yay, extra money in my budget. Next up is my car insurance, and that is $99.86. And I do have a life insurance policy, and that's $25.31 a month. Next up is my food budget, and I budget about $600 for me and my 2 kids, and that includes groceries and eating out. And in my miscellaneous category, I'm putting about $200 aside for just random things, birthday parties, subscriptions to Netflix and Disney. And then I do have a big trip coming up this summer, so I put $534 aside for that to pay for a rental car and the Airbnb. And last but not least, we have my debt categories. I'm going to put $50 towards student loans, $125.32 towards my solar panels, a little over $632 towards my car payment. That leaves me with $794 left to spend, and I think that I will be putting that towards my debt on my car. I do zero-based budgeting, which means that every single dollar that I get has a plan. That way I'm telling my money what to do instead of my money telling me what to do. If you have not told your money what it needs to do during the month of May, you need to sit down, write out all your expenses, write out your income, and tell it what to do and make it work for you.
Got paid today, so let's budget my paycheck. I got a whopping $400. So if you even say budget, but if you don't budget the small stuff, you're not going to budget when you actually make real money. It's a little bit lower than usual because I took some time off for the surgery that I had. So let's get into where this money goes. My husband's paychecks go to bills. Mine goes towards savings. We're trying to live off of his income and his income only. I've been putting $100 into my daughter's savings account every month. The rest of the money we'll just put into our regular savings account to go into whatever our mortgage that needs to come out if we need anything extra. So not a lot happening, but that is what we're gonna do. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Hey y'all, I'm Faith. I'm 22 years old. My husband and I are paying off $101.4K worth of debt. Right now we are tackling my car loan, which is sitting at a balance of $20,440. I got paid today, so we are making a payment of $615 towards the principal, bringing our loan down to $19,825. This will be our last payment for the month of May, and in total, this is including extra principal payments and my minimum payment of $504.96. I have paid $3,366.51 towards the principal of my car, and I paid $176.61 towards interest. Overall, our new debt balance is $92,552.21. Feels really good. I feel like we're actually getting somewhere. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and if you need to make a debt payment today, make a debt payment.
Last year I went viral for sharing this debt payoff tip, and it helped a lot of people, so I'm resharing it again because it's almost been a year since I shared it. My credentials are I paid off $27,000 of credit card debt last year in 9 months. 9 months. Starting your debt-free journey, one of the first things I will tell you to do is to call each and every credit card provider or loan provider and see if they have any ability to give you a lower interest rate for the meantime. This can also come with a lower minimum payment. Why is this helpful? Well, if you are doing your debt snowball and you are paying debt from the smallest to largest, having a lower minimum payment on the others while you focus on the smallest gives you extra money to put towards that smallest debt and can accelerate the payoff. Any little dollar counts. The biggest thing in a debt-free journey, every little dollar counts. And so I was able to get a lower interest rate from Discover from 28% to 9.99 for 6 months. I didn't even need it for that length of time because by the time I realized I could do this, it was kind of like late in the game and I was almost done. That's why I'm telling you, if you're starting your debt-free journey, call your credit card companies, call these loan people and see if there's any wiggle room for them to give you a lower interest rate. There's no script. What I said was, hey, I've been a customer with you for 10 years. I was wondering if there's any room for a lower interest rate, even if it's temporary. That's it. A lot of comments that I got when I shared that tip last year was that, oh, you needed to be behind in payments. Respectfully, I was not behind in payments. I was always at least making a minimum payment. So, closed mouths don't get fed. The worst they can say is no, they don't have an option for you, which is what Capital One said to me. And they were very actually nasty about it. I ended up closing them later. But besides the point, Capital One would probably not help you because they don't care about you. I mean, most of these banks don't care about you. But the gist is, call and ask. The worst they can say is no. And if you can get a smaller minimum payment on one while you're focusing on another, that's amazing because it gives you more room to put money on that smallest debt payoff, and you can start to feel the momentum.
Guys, all debt is negotiable. And if you don't ask, you don't get. So ask them if they are able to lower your monthly interest rate. And if they can, you just saved yourself a lot of headache and a lot of money. And it will be easier to pay off your debts much faster.
So some of you know, at the beginning of this year, I paid off my car and I just made the decision that I want to be debt-free. I paid off my credit cards last year, or maybe the year before, and it was just the most relieving feeling ever, not having to worry about that interest building up anymore. So then this year I decided that I wanted to pay off my car early so I could save money on interest, and I saved about $5,000 by paying my car off early. And then I decided that I wanted to pay off my school loans, and I did take some time off from putting extra money towards my loans. Just so I could travel and spend money on other things. I was so aggressive with paying my car off, so I just decided to take a break. But I did just start paying more money towards my school loans. In the beginning of this year, they were at $26,180, and now they're down to $15,782. So I've paid off, what is that, like almost $11,000 on my school loans just this year alone. And my goal is I would really like to pay them off by the end of March of 2025, but really I just want to be debt free before I turn 30. So that's the only debt that I have left is just my school loans. And then I'll just have like my monthly bills that I need to pay, and I can save up money, and hopefully within a couple of years I'll be able to have a down payment on a house. But I do have some people who I work with who talk about how they would like to be better at budgeting, and I feel like for me personally, I have mastered what works best for me, and it's helped me to be able to pay off my car and so much of my school loans in such a short amount of time. I used to be pretty bad about spending money excessively. I always wanted a new perfume, and it just so happened to be a really expensive perfume. I was spending like thousands of dollars on perfume. It was kind of insane. Or going out to eat and not caring how much money I spent, getting drinks after work all the time. And so I now have written down, so my monthly bills for the month, I like to have those written down and see the dates that they come out. And then I also like to have it written out because I get paid bi-weekly. So I like to have it written out what my bills will be per pay period. So when I'm looking at my bank account, I can decide how much money is going to come out within those 2 weeks. And then I also keep a little thing in my notes on my phone for every single day of that pay period and how much money I spent. And I like to have a goal for how much money I want to spend. So my budget is typically like $600. I would like to not spend more than $600 within a 2-week period. When I was paying my car off, I was really good about it. My goal was $500 and I never went over it, but I just started paying my school loans back again. So I'm still trying to get back down to spending less money per pay period. But you can set whatever works for you and however much money you want to put towards your loans or your debt. But I'm doing it pretty aggressively, which is why I've set my budget pretty low, just $300 a week, or low in my opinion. That might be, I don't know, maybe that's not that low, but yeah, I just feel like that works best for me. So I don't know if this will help you, but keeping it in my phone and tracking how much money I'm spending every day and saying like, oh, I don't get paid till Tuesday and I only have $40 more to spend, well then I'm probably not going to go out to dinner with my friends that night because I'll probably go over that budget. There are times like when birthdays come up or I don't know, unforeseen situations pop up. It's okay. You don't have to be hard on yourself, but I just found that it's a lot easier to save money and pay off my debt when I'm keeping track of it in that way. So I hope this helps and good luck with your debt payoff journey.
I'm a few days late, but let's do my April budget breakdown featuring the Hawaii beach. For my income in April, I made almost $900 extra than I was planning on. A lot of that being from user testing. I made quite a bit of money off of Dscout this month. Then I also made a little extra on plasma than I was expecting, and I had a decent amount in reimbursements, which was mostly from Join Brands, which I just started doing this month. I was able to hit my savings goals with $450 in my savings account and then $584 into my Roth IRA. For my bills, everything was as expected. I did not get a massage this month, so I ended up saving $40 with my Massage Luxe membership. And then I was able to put an extra $1,300 towards my last credit card, which I had converted into a personal loan. Then for my expenses, I did end up going over in some categories, but I was way under in some other categories. So in the end, it was a net positive for my expenses this month, which allowed me to throw a little bit extra towards my personal loan. So that brings my debt total through the end of April to $22,094.99. And I'm so freaking excited for May because I will have my credit card / personal loan paid off in May, which will just leave my car loan as my only debt.
Budget my paycheck with me as someone who's trying to get out of debt. So gross, I make $1,804 with 39 cents. Net, I take home $1,213 with 25 cents. Get a bunch of deductions because I have vision, medical, life insurance, savings, 3 something, I don't know, a bunch of stuff, taxes taken out. So those deductions alone are $589 with 38 cents. Oh my god. And then I have my regular bills, which is rent, which I pay $750, which is half of what rent actually is because I go half and half with my. And from each paycheck, oh by the way, I get paid bi-weekly. Each paycheck I deduct $375 from each check. I get paid bi-weekly, $23 an hour. Yeah. Aside from that, I have to pay a money that I owe to my aunt, which is $500. I pay $100. I give my mom $100 from each check because my phone bill is $111. So in total, I'm left with $214, which I have to pay to my credit card. So saving and paying off my debt of around $7,000, I have paid $0. Join me next week to see if I end up saving. Oh, and Black Friday is coming around. I'm not gonna get anything for Black Friday because I'm broke.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
I was cleaning today and I found my first notebook and my first bill organizer from when we started to get out of our consumer debt, which was $90,000 back in 2019. I just want to share with you some of the debt that we had back then. This is for November 1st, 2019. We had a school loan, which was $2,300, a medical bill, which was $2,300, another school loan, $4,500, another school loan, $5,700, my car loan, $8,900, my husband's was $9,300, another school loan was $16,000. So it says the total debt in November was $49,237.72. And if you remember, I said we had $90,000 worth of consumer debt, which we added a lot. We did some fertility treatments, we got new cars, credit cards, but we also went on a vacation, so it all ended up totaling over $90,000. And then this is the first bill organizer that I ever used. So this is January 2019. There's cell phone, rent, car loans, a hospital loan, medications, 3 credit cards, a school loan. There's just so much stuff. This is your sign to get yourself organized, figure out what debt you have, and start paying it off. Follow along for all my tips and tricks on how to do it. I would love to have you save this video, go back and watch all my other videos, and I will see you later. Bye.
It's payday, and I honestly hesitated sharing this with you guys. It's just a really weird month. I figure I'm being transparent, and we might as well start now. For the month of May, my husband and I's income, we both got paid twice, which was $10,473. Not that this is weird, we're both getting our quarterly bonuses now. Dustin got a bonus of $2,040 and I got a bonus of $7,205. So with our income, our mileage, and our bonuses, we're at $22,613 for May. When it comes to bills, we spent $841, and this just includes our water, electric, internet, cell phone, and then we also have our mortgage, which is $2,600 for the month. For expenses, we spent $1,808, and this includes things like groceries, gas, our pets. We went on vacation this month and we spent $2,000, and also for the month we spent $1,958 at restaurants, and that's also including the vacation. So I just combined that together, vacation and restaurants, and that's $3,958. We had some home improvement. We spent $1,062. A separate home that I've talked about, we've been Airbnb-ing, and now we're changing to just a long-term rental. So we had some things to do over there, like fixing the gate, some house maintenance that we had to spend money on. Another thing, we had to pay 2 years of home taxes, which was $1,198. We thought that came out of our mortgage, and we were wrong. So we also had to pay some late fees on that. So that was fun. Then for debt payoff, it was a really good month. I paid $7,000 on my credit card, and Dustin paid $3,000 on his car. So that made our total spend for the month $18,868. We're left over with $3,745, and I'm putting that straight to my credit card. And then our 401ks already come out of our checks. Our health insurance came out of my check because I get a good rate. And then we already have our emergency fund set up. So that's my first payday video. Hopefully I'll see you guys back for the next one.
They actually earn a lot per month, so it is a lot easier to budget once you earn a lot per month. But if you earn a lot less, then your budget is going to be a lot smaller, a lot tighter.
Okay, let's chat about how I budget $100 per week. I've actually been doing it for 7 months and it's been going pretty well. I actually got the idea from a lady from TikTok, and she actually pulls out $100 cash, but I really like to track my expenses with my budget tracker. I'm thinking about sharing that with you guys. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to share my budget tracker, because I like to add my expenses and what I buy. I don't like keeping receipts, and I can just look back at my bank account. So let's talk about it. I have 4 bank accounts. First one is a savings. It's a high yield savings with American Express. It earns about 3.6% on interest, and that's a totally separate account from my other 3 accounts, just so I don't touch it while I'm paying down debt, especially $77,000. I want to make sure I have a nice buffer. It has about, I believe, like $2,500. I don't believe $1,000 is enough. I think the Dave Ramsey method is kind of dead in today's society, especially with the way that this economy is going, okay? And now I have 3 other bank accounts. So the first one is another savings account that I do have some money stored away, but it's in the same bank, just in case, like if I needed to transfer something really quick, because that American Express high yield savings account does take like a day to transfer over to my other bank. So I have like an emergency fund if I like basically overdraft on one of my other 2 checking accounts. So that's like kind of like a safeguard for me, just personally. The first checking account I have is just my bills account, I call it. So all of my bills get taken out, all of my direct deposits for my 4 jobs essentially go into this bank account. And then I have an automatic transfer into my first checking account that has my debit card, and that only transfers $100 per week over. And then essentially, how do I live off $100? So I basically just shop at Aldi. It's very affordable. The food quality is really good. Rarely on occasion, I will go to one of the nicer grocery stores if I'm kind of getting tired of Aldi. Honestly, I am, but my diet is very simple. I do really care about what goes in my body, so I just eat a protein and usually vegetables. I don't go crazy with anything. Now, Aldi is still affordable. You guys can do whatever you want, but I just like to eat very simple, especially that I'm on a budget and I'm a very health conscious person. 2, I drive a beat up, I'm just kidding, it's not beat up, but it's a 2010 Honda Civic that is paid off. I do not have any car payments, paying down the $77,000 of debt, thank goodness. So my commute is pretty good because I do have a full-time hybrid position and my 3 other side gigs are not that far. It's probably like 20 to 30 minutes at most if I'm traveling. So I save a lot on gas. And then 3, I just really make sure if I'm going out and using $100 and that's all I have, like I'm going with a friend, I'm making sure that I stick to that budget. Like I'm not going over, I'm not going under. Actually, I would prefer to go under. I take that back.
Go through my payday routine with me as someone in $75,000 of student loan debt and trying to get out of it. If you've been following around my debt-free journey, you'll know I just did kind of a rebrand, an overhaul, whatever you call it, of my finances for 2025. And I have a new plan to tackle my budget and make sure I have enough money for not only my expenses, but also my goals, which include paying off $75,000 in student loan debt. I have my little plan here. Let's talk about the choices I made. As with every week, I got paid $1,641.66. And one of the first things I did with this paycheck is I transferred $1,113.70 to my core expenses or essentials vault in my SoFi high yield savings account. You can check out one of the videos I posted a few days ago, but basically I tallied up what I can generally expect to spend on like the essentials every month. And I divided that in 2 so that way I could know how much of each paycheck I need to put towards those essentials. After doing so, I have $527.96 left to play with. So since such a big priority of mine is paying off my debt, I'm going to do what I tend to always do and put $150 towards my highest interest loan. While I would usually allocate some to my savings, I'm gonna pause because if you've been following along, you know that tomorrow kicks off 5 days of finances, and day, I think it's 2 or 3, I don't remember, is where we kind of assess what sinking funds and how much amount we're going to need for 2025. So I'm gonna hold off so I can put that $300 that's left over to put my sinking funds off to a good start. There you have it, the last paycheck of the year. If you like this content and want to see more, feel free to like, follow, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Today is officially day 5 of unemployment, and I decided to make an overview of what I expect to spend in the month of February on a $0 income. So my rent is expected to be $1,289.35. My electricity is $77. Mobile is $23. Internet $70. Groceries and gas, I had an estimate, but I expect to spend about $480 on groceries and $80 on gas. My one-time car insurance payment is $692.83. My monthly car loan is $281.25. And then I have some random subscriptions like Amazon Prime, YouTube Premium, and a random Apple bill, which all turns out to be about $25 altogether. So this comes out to a grand total of $2,580.23. Honestly, I've been pretty calm throughout this whole process, but I think looking at the actual hard numbers of what I need to survive is really stressing me out. So I'm going to go bury my head in a hole now. Okay, bye.
My bills a month come out to $3,845. My income is currently standing at $2,730. That income is $2,000 in unemployment and $730 in child support. And that leaves me negative $1,115 a month. But this is just what it takes to pay my bills. Now, to live, food, gas, clothes, spending money, maintenance, none of that. This is just bills. Now, when it comes to salary, if we're talking salary, how much income I need to make a year in order to basically live paycheck to paycheck to bring in minimum $55,000 a year. In order to live the life I want to live, I need to be making about $150,000. As of today's reality, I make $33,000 a year. To survive, live paycheck to paycheck, I need to make $55,000. Ultimate goal at the end of the day is about $150,000. So, bringing us back to this debate that I have, by June 11th, the latest, your girl's gonna make a decision. I'm either gonna stay in this apartment or I'm gonna move back in with family, live rent, utility, grocery free. I don't have to pay for any of that. Now, who knows what can happen? I could most certainly find a job by then. I could find a job by June, and it could be a 6-figure job. Or I continue scaling my social media, which is what I've been doing regardless. The brand deals, monetizing YouTube, money off TikTok, doing my entrepreneurial thing, starting the businesses that I want to start, etc. Right? So, I mean, it's possible. I'll get this money regardless, right? But it's like, what path is it going to be? Because, like I said, I could stay here. I know at the end of the day, where I'm at right now, as of today, this second, employment is not going to sustain me. I would need to pursue, I would need to do what I'm doing now, right? Which is continue pursuing a job and just continue scaling all the other streams of income that I have going on as well. Biggest thing is just, the timing. Nobody wants to keep struggling. Nobody wants to live almost negative $1,200 a month in the hole. No one ever likes being in survival mode. But at the end of the day too, it's possible. It's not possible. Creating generational wealth, creating wealth, period, getting to financial freedom, it is possible. And this doesn't even include, all of the other huge financial goals that I have. So when it does come to the businesses that I really, really want to start, it takes money to make money. It just is what it is. It's going to take a lot of financial investment within myself. Probably going to end up talking about this in a separate video, but there's certain levels, certain steps that I'm trying to complete, right? So I have level 1 where I'm just trying to get to a baseline, a bare minimum standard of living financially, and that by itself takes $10 grand. And then I'm going to get myself to my standard of comfortable living, about 9 to 11 grand a month right there. That's ultimately kind of where we got that salary scale. So y'all, I don't know. We're gonna see come June, regardless of the decision that gets made, I'm gonna stay faithful and obedient. No matter what roof I'm under, the goal doesn't change. Financial freedom, generational wealth, living comfortably. Y'all know it's not just me, it's me and my son. All I can do is keep showing up and keep being obedient and keep doing what I know I'm supposed to be doing. And at this point, we're really gonna see what God does. So y'all stay tuned because I just know June is gonna be here like tomorrow.
She has the right mindset on things like this. Having a growth mindset is very much needed to pay off a lot of debt. It is $1 at a time. And the more that you do what you are supposed to do, then things will really work out for you.
My contract job ended a month before it was supposed to. It's officially day 11 of being unemployed, and it's a new week. So you know what that means? It means it's time to track my expenses of what I spent in the past week. So groceries, I spent $6.97, which seems like a really weird amount, but I think I just had to get spinach or something, so that's why it's so low. My electric bill was just due. That was $77.06. My car payment was $281.75. I actually did just call them a few days ago asking if I could get an extension on at least next month's payment, and that's in the works, so that's good. And then my YouTube premium bill was $20.13, which I ended up canceling, so that should no longer be an expense for me. My service fee was $4.95 just for my savings account. I don't know, it takes a fee out of my bank account. It's really dumb. Etsy, I got a budget tracker, which was $11.79. And then last but not least, Starbucks, I spent $31.61, which I have no idea how or why because I actually don't even like Starbucks. So I'm definitely going to get better about not going out and eating, especially when I'm on a $0 income. So the grand total comes out to $433.76, which I'm actually very surprised about. I feel like that's a lot to spend in a week. So I'm definitely going to try to get better on that. I'm just hoping I can find a job soon. Okay, bye.
Well, guys, I quit my job again. So budget my last paycheck with me.
I don't know, but the 9-to-5 life just isn't working for me, at least for now. I finally reached my breaking point with my job and decided just to quit. My last check was $2,116, so let's see how far I can stretch this. Y'all know I'm using my finance spreadsheet that helps me manage and keep track of all my finances in one place. First of the month has already passed. I've already paid rent, utilities, Wi-Fi, and my renter's insurance. I still have to pay my car note, cell phone, my braces installments, my life insurance, and my pet insurance. I did have about $24 in subscriptions, and all of that together brings my monthly bill payments to $19.13. Shout out to the Reds. Since this is my last check, I decided to spend majority of it just to pay on bills for the month so I don't have to worry about it. That leaves about $200 left for my living expenses. And of course, I don't have enough to save. Now, thankfully, I do have extra income coming in from my rental property and car rental business. I'm also a budget and wealth coach. So if you need help reaching your financial goals and you want to help your girl keep her bills paid, be sure to book my financial services located on my website. Follow me and stay up to date on my unemployment journey. Thanks for watching.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.